Hi, we are in the Brazilian northern savannas, the setting at Mirador State Park, where we have our tiger cat conservation project. The project has several targets: population monitoring for the tiger cats, habitat monitoring, and threat mitigation, which includes also environmental education. Other than that, we are setting new goals involving local residents in the park to get involved in the project activities, as well as private landowners that owns land connected to the park, so that we can have a corridor for tiger cats from the park to the outside world. Another goal that we have not been able to start yet is to help out the local community. Although this is a state park which would not allow people to live inside its borders, when the park was created back in the 1980s, several families were already residents inside the park area, and for them to be removed outside the park borders, they would need to get compensation, financial compensation, which neither the federal government or the state government have money for it. So we have to reconcile ways, we have to find ways to reconcile people living within the park borders.
Mirador State Park, Tiger Cat Kingdom. This is Tiger Cat Tracks on sand. This is the place where I learned how to identify small cat tracks on sand, which is the hardest one. And as you can see, the park is indeed Tiger Cat Kingdom.
An integral part of the Mirador Tiger Cat project is population monitoring, because that's what's going to tell us whether the conservation actions are in fact having an effect in securing the long-term viability of the tiger cat population. And the way we monitor the cats is through camera traps. Through the population monitoring, we found out that the species avoids open savanna formations, and those open savanna formations actually make up half of the park surface. So that means half of the park is unsuitable, and throughout the distribution of the species, large areas are natural open savanna formations, but the species is not there. So which means that the preliminary population estimates are actually inflated, and that the situation of the species is more critical than what we previously thought.
This is our main monitoring site, and at this very place, this is where we photograph the most the tiger cats in Mirador State Park. And the population here was estimated to be the highest, not only in the park, but in the entire planet. We estimated the population here to be 25 individuals per 100 square kilometers. And this is the next generation of wildlife conservationists being trained.
Sensitivity.
This is Moisés Pereira. He's a park resident. He was born in the park, and now he's part of our conservation project with the tiger cats in Mirador. It's our intent to have people from the community involved with park activities, and he's now he's part of the team now.
Então, sou Moisés, tenho 46 anos de idade, nasci e me criei no parque, até hoje vivo tenho muita honra de viver nessa área, mesmo com dificuldade, com 12 filhos para cuidar, mas sempre me sinto muito feliz e hoje fazer parte dessa equipe que está aqui dentro, trabalhando junto com a gente.
Eu sou o Félix, trabalho, eu vivo aqui há 42 anos, aqui nessa área do parque, nasci e me criei. E na verdade eu faço parte hoje do projeto do Pintadinho, né?
Diseases are the main threat to tiger cats in Mirador. During the population monitoring, we noticed of domestic dogs at the very same cameras of tiger cats pigs, and that in a lot of them they were showing signs of diseases. This immediately turned on the alarm, showing that diseases might be a serious threat to tiger cats there. It turned out that dogs were at 80% of the cameras that photograph tiger cats, indicating that they are both using the same areas. And in 65% of tiger cat habitat in Mirador State Park is impacted by dogs, which is quite a lot. Clinical signs indicated the presence of the dreadful canine distemper virus, which later we confirmed to be very active in the park, as the virus was detected in an alarming 80% of the dogs evaluated. There is to say, 80% of the dogs tested positive for the virus.
Olá, me chamo Ana Caroline, sou médica veterinária que pertence ao grupo do professor Tadeu Gomes de Oliveira. E hoje o nosso trabalho é fazer a revacinação dos animais que já foram vacinados contra 5 doenças, inclusive também a raiva. Nós vamos fazer as vacinas desses animais e após a nossa segunda dose de vacinação, esses animais serão revacinados anualmente. Todos os animais que foram vacinados, eles foram testados para sinomose e parvovirose.
Environmental education program makes use of a human perceptions questionnaire that we do in the beginning and the end of the process, so that we can have an idea on the progress of our actions, our environmental education actions. Our preliminary assessment of the questionnaire indicated that the community outside the park had better knowledge of African wildlife than that of their own backyard, Mirador State Park. Because of this, we developed a series of games, brochures, and a booklet, especially during the COVID lockdown, which you can see being used here.
A educação ambiental é uma parte fundamental do nosso trabalho, porque assim nós conseguimos formar futuros colaboradores para que no futuro eles sejam multiplicadores de conhecimento. Pensando nisso, nós desenvolvemos alguns jogos educativos para que as crianças aprendam um pouco sobre os animais que existem aqui dentro do parque e repliquem esse conhecimento.
Essa primeira etapa consiste em a criança aprender um pouco sobre a ecologia do animal, como o animal se comporta, diferenciar um animal do outro, para que eles utilizem esse conhecimento em um segundo jogo, que é o jogo da conservação, né? Eles vão aplicar os conhecimentos aqui aprendidos nesse jogo da conservação em prol dos animais que vivem dentro do Parque Estadual do Mirador.
Então vai pro comum, vai ver que vai sair todo na bosta.
This is our environmental education done outside the park. We are just getting back with those kids after a long wait due to COVID. Classes have not returned, but they were assembled today here. at their request actually, to work, to play with the new games and stuff that they heard about.
We are monitoring habitat loss and fire through satellite images. Several borders of the park are already surrounded by a sea of soy, corn, and eucalyptus. Images have shown that the extensive 2020 fires affected a large part of the tiger cat's prime habitat, as you can see on the red dots in the satellite map. You have seen throughout this presentation a lot of our activities here. To summarize it, we can say that our ultimate goal is to guarantee that Mirador State Park can act as an insurance policy against the northern tiger cat, Leopardus tigrinus, extinction. Why is that? Because the park has a self-sustaining population of tiger cat. It's one of the very few protected areas in the planet, not only in Brazil, that can protect a self-sustaining, long-term self-sustaining population of the pintadinho, as it is locally known. But for that, we need to guarantee that disease, which is the main threat for the tiger cat and other wildlife here, especially the carnivore and the other small cats, is diseases from domestic dogs. And for that, we will need to take continuous actions of vaccination throughout the coming years. If we do not do that, outbreaks, even moderate outbreaks of canine distemper and parvovirus, which are present in the population here, can wipe out the population of the tiger cats, and who, God knows which other species can also go along. The title of the presentation mentions hurdles and joys in small cat conservation. The hurdles you've seen throughout this presentation, there are a lot of them, several of them, but most of them all focus to one part: lack of funding. For that, we need your help, we need your support. And one thing that moved us considerably is, while doing the project in close proximity with the community, seeing their very poor quality of living, there is no way we cannot try to do things to improve this. One idea that came is beekeeping for honey production. We are hoping that this will be an alternative even for cattle raising, pigs and cattle as well. The joys is to, when we have our activities, our educational material being used or being intended to be used by the state government in the public school system of the state. This is very fulfilling for us. And when we see small kids living inside the park, begging their parents to follow us and following us to learn and becoming like really interested in wildlife conservation, this is very gratifying for us, especially for me. I come from a very strong background of conservation, and this is a very important part of my doings here. Another thing is the pintadinho, the tiger cat, because of what's being done here and because of the importance of Mirador State Park for the northern tiger cat worldwide conservation, the cat was chosen by the state. We proposed, and the state environmental secretariat approved to use the cat as the state symbol of conservation. This was very gratifying for us, very gratifying. A take-home message that we can have from this project is that the pintadinho as a flagship species could be a ticket, could be a way of a better quality of living for the local population. And this is something meaningful and worth working for. And that's what we are going to do. With your support, we will get there. Thank you.